So good morning. I'm Thamakorn Supathanarangsri. So today I present my study on the subject, the gaming elements, design of an innovative financial learning tools for young adult learners. In this study, we aim to clarify the stimulus factor to acquire financial knowledge and stimulus factor to change financial behavior and demonstrate their importance to incorporate in the game design. So in this study, we review the literature about the psychological theory and empirical study from the survey of 135 students of Provincial Electricity Authority Electric Vocational School. Their age is between 16 to 19 years old during April 2020. And then we analyze all the response by the factor analysis and regression analysis method. So the reason why we are interested in this subject is because in Thailand, the economic difficulty is a problem. So we define it as it's because of the result from low financial literacy of Thai people. So in Thailand, according to the survey conducted by Bank of Thailand and the National Statistical Office, Thai people score only 61.0 in financial skill. In this one, it's also include the financial literacy, financial behavior, and also the financial attitude. So this score is below the OECD average level. And also it seems like that the non-performing personal loan in Thailand is increased continuously in the past decade, especially in the young adult borrower in Thailand. So having bad debt at a young age, it affects future investment capability and also hamper the growth and stability of the overall economy. So financial literacy is recognized to be a very key to improve Thai's achievement in financial well-being. So our objective in this study is to shed some light on the factor to motivate and drive learners to study finance. The hypothesis is by motivating factor, if we can identify it and include it in the design of financial learning tools, the tools will be able to draw the attention of the learner to study finance and finally lead to the success of financial education. So the specific design of game element will be addressed from the empirical study. So the three main aspects to consider here is what stimulates people to learn new things, what exactly is financial literacy, and how it influences financial well-being, and how to design an effective, innovative financial learning tools. To achieve this purpose, we conduct an empirical study based on the survey, which I will be elaborate later on. The outline of today's presentation will be the literature review, the concept of need satisfaction, the scope and definition of the financial literacy, financial well-being, and the definition of the game design elements, our methodology, and proposed research framework, and I wrap up with the recommendation and concluding remarks. So the stimulus factor to acquire knowledge were examined in two aspects. One is a factor that pushes people to learn new things, which in this case, financial knowledge. The other is the factor that helped them change their behavior to design an interactive education game tailored to give practical knowledge and presumably lead to the financial well-being of the learners. So from the psychological point of view, how people behave is motivated by their unfulfillment needs. One of the most popular is the Maslow hierarchy of needs theory, where he separates people's need to 5 levels. Adler further developed it to 3 levels, which is the existent needs, related needs, and growth needs. So the basic needs and the psychological needs and the self-fulfillment needs. The self-determination theory is also a major theory of the new century. Darcy and Ryan state that 3 psychological needs that fulfill intrinsic motivation underlying choice people make includes competent related needs and autonomy. These needs are the key to designing a learning experience for the new generation. Competent needs is the individual needs to feel that they are capable and mastering something, while related needs is a need to make connection and sharing what they are doing. Autonomy, which is what the new generation value highly, refers to the needs to feel in charge of engaging. For financial literacy, it's loosely defined as knowledge and skill to manage money effectively. However, there are so many interesting definitions. For example, like for the President Advisory Council on Financial Literacy, they define financial literacy as the ability to use knowledge and skill to manage financial resources effectively for a lifetime of financial well-being. OECD defines it as a combination of awareness, knowledge, skill, attitudes, and behavior necessary to make financial decisions. PEAEVS defines as the ability to access, compare, contrast, contemplate, and evaluate financial information. And also the CFPB said that the proper measurement of financial literacy as its level to improve individual financial well-being. So for the financial well-being, as said, it is very important to improve because it provide the financial well-being for a person is to give them the financial literacy. So the CFPB also described the financial well-being as a security and freedom of choice, both in present and in the future. To be more specific, financial well-being is having control over day-to-day finance, having capacity to absorb a future financial shock, having enough financial freedom to enjoy life, and being on track to meet financial goals. Evidence also suggests that well-informed, financially educated consumer can make better choice and be in a position to increase their economic security and well-being. And it's also obvious that to be literate in financial does not automatically mean that they will be better off. The education provided must teach the knowledge and instill a healthy routine to make people capable and eventually experienced in managing their financial situation effectively. The game design elements. The game design elements are the foundation of the gamification application. In an education context, gamification was widely adopted to both couple with formal education or as the standalone learning tools, as it can engage, motivate, influence, and reinforce learning-related behavior, design skills, and attitude. Creating a game where the player is in control of their financial decision is viable to teach basic and advanced financial skills, as a player will be able to choose their financial choice and see their results. So the methodology of our study. In phase 1, we will try to understand the financial literacy related concept and factor and the target group. Upon this, we explore, we interview the group of financial experts and personal financial consultants, and by focusing on their teaching experience. Representatives of the target group were also interviewed to understand their basic financial situation, knowledge, and expectation in life. As a result, a set of questionnaire was developed to include questions about personal characteristics and the factors that motivate financial education and behavioral change. The questionnaire was inspected by 3 experts in the field of finance using index of item objective congruence. We analyzed the data with descriptive statistics such as median and quartile deviation, the absolute value between mode and median, and determining indicator with average percentage. In phase 2, selection and assessment of stimulus factors that motivate financial education and behavioral change. The questionnaire was tested with a group of 30 students of Provincial Electricity Authority Electric Vocational School. So we test the liability using conduct alpha coefficient. Similar factors that motivate knowledge acquisition and financial behavior change were measured by 14 questions and 11 questions respectively in 3 different dimensions, which is financial education, social norm, and locus of control. In phase 3, validation of the stimulus factor to acquire knowledge and financial behavior change to integrated into gaming element of the financial educational tools. The questionnaire were administered to 135 students. And then the collected data analyzed with the descriptive statistic, Pearson coefficient, and factor analysis. And we also examine the relationship between the stimulus factor and the intention to use financial learning to promote financial literacy. The result, factor analysis from the data of 135 students were performed with very marked notation on the stimulus factor that motivate financial skill acquisition. The KMO of the data was 0.772, indicating that the technique used was appropriate. The Barrett test of sphericity was found to support the model at 0.00 level of significance. The factor analysis found 7 factors with the eigenvalue of greater than 1, accounting for the cumulation variance of 59.735%. 7 factors that motivate and effectively facilitate financial indicator of these young adult learners include the awareness of the need of financial needs, the awareness of the need for financial planning, the future uncertainty, the financial satisfaction, the community support, the income satisfaction, and the recording of income and expenditure. So this table shows the comparison between the stimulus factor from the literature review and factor analysis. The coefficient regression analysis found that there are only 2 factors that impact the willingness to improve financial skill. They are the need for competency and the income satisfaction. The stimulus factor found in preceding analysis are used in the development of an innovative financial learning tools. So this one is a conceptual framework that we propose. And finally, the recommendation and conclusion. Results indicate that educator and the game developers should focus on the need for competency and income satisfaction factor, as they are the most significant factor in designing the educational tools that will better engage young adult learners to improve their financial literacy and enable them to apply their knowledge in their life situation. The financial game should introduce activity that can help change people behavior and teach skill regarding financial literacy. And both intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation are equally important. And lastly, carefully designed games that focus on intrinsic motivator would contribute positively to the experience of the player. This study hence provides an initial understanding of student intrinsic and extrinsic motivation to learn finance, the complex subject that many do not want to understand, to design a fun and engaging financial learning tools. And in the future work, we will explore the outcome of the financial game design following the result of this study. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. We have time for questions. Does anyone have any questions for our presenter?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Thama, so you said you have used some financial educational tools in order to literate financially, right?
Right.
Can you tell me any? Did you develop that tool by yourself, or do you have used some existing tools?
Oh yes, we developed it.
Oh, it has not been developed.
It's in the process. So we already test 2 times with a group of students, 5 of them, and then after we get the result, and then now we are trying to how to say it? We develop it again. Yeah, we try to fix what we get the comments, and then we try to develop it again. Yeah.
Thank you. And another question as well. So while you made your Waterlet test, at that point, what was the sample size and what was the central tendency of the data? What parameters you have used for the central tendency of the data?
So at first we used 30 students, and then for the preliminary study. And then after that, we used 135 students. Mm.
And did you this test need central tendency as a mean value or median value or something else?
Yes, or if I can show you, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm curious about this particularly testing. Like, it's a statistical testing, and I don't know how much significance it has.
So the cumulative level is 59% here. And after the rotation, right, the significant value, we got only 2, right, as I said. So see here, this is our R-square value and the adjusted R-square, yeah, of the study. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions for our presenter?
I'll ask something because this is my area of expertise. With the well, I was going to ask if you found anything relating to, like, when you look at, say, the government and how regulation works, and over there, because when we look over in the United States, there's a big sort of, in the background, you have the issue that a lot of financial institutions are allowed to take advantage of consumers, and that, you know, that happened a lot in the 2008 financial crisis, but it's happening again now. So did you have any recommendations for the subject pool and what their country should do?
So basically our main problem is because our financial literacy rate is very low, right? But I don't think that we have a problem with the financial inclusion. So, and now because of the financial products in Thailand now, there are lots of them, right? So basically that's why we try to target at the very basic finance, because we believe that if the foundation is strong, and then they can be better off later on by themselves, like that. And for the like scam or it's not a very big issue in Thailand. I don't think so. Like, because we have like a very efficient authority who can tackle the problem. And once they report to the police or to the reporter, and then the problem will be tackled right away. Yeah.